welcome back to Jmeter training videos. Last session we discussed about while controller, right? So today's session, let's go ahead and learn different controllers. Yeah, in yesterday's session, last session, I just wanted to touch base one more thing. So last session we checked right how to display the value, which one it is coming in the while controller. You want to use a pre-processor, post-processor, sometimes it may work and you don't know the last value, right? So for that, the best way to use it is JSR223 sampler as well. So how to use JSR223 sampler? Right click there, add sampler and go to use this one, the JSR223 sampler. I already added, so I will go ahead and enable this one. And yeah, I just pass the high variable, which will give the count of this random number. And same thing you can add here as well, out of that control, out of that while loop as well. Okay, so you can add two places. One is inside loop, what value it is generating, outside loop to see what value it is generated, why it came out, if you want to know. Yeah, so now just do this one, enable debug sampler and just run for make sure we have only one user, and let's run it and see what it does. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and see. So what it generated, first time it generated a 8 number. The 8 means greater than 3, right? So you can see the it went inside. Okay, then it generated 5, then it went inside. Okay, and then it generated 3. 3 greater than 3 is false, right? So it came out of the loop. So that is all about this value. So you can see the values, what it is sending inside the loop and outside the while controller. Okay, this is another way of using JSR223 sampler. If you don't know whether you have to use it pre-processor, post-processor, right, you can use this one as well. Okay, yeah, this is all about while controller. And let's go ahead and learn another controller. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to logic controllers. Today's session we'll see how to use critical session controller. Yeah, let's go ahead and add this one. See, critical session controller, it is clearly saying global lock. What is global lock? If some script, let's keep it here outside of this URL. Okay, so some user is running. Let's say you are running with two users. Okay, and whenever you are running with two users, only one user, any particular time during 1 hour test or any time, you want to run only one user for this particular piece of code has to be executed by only one user, not 2 3 users. Okay, whenever you use this URL, right, if you run with two users, there might be a chance that at some point the same two users might be executing URL part. Okay, if you don't want that way, you want to be executed only one user per particular time, any particular time, only one user has to be executed this particular code. No more than one user has to be executed. If there is a scenario, you have there is a scenario where only one user has to be executed that particular code at any point of time. Other users have wait until that particular code is completed. How do we do it? For that, we will use critical session controller, and we can use it. Okay, now let's add this same thread group sampler 2, and let's enable constant timer for this time, and I am giving 30 seconds as the constant timer. Okay, so let's go ahead and disable this one as well for now. Okay, so now we are running with two users, right? If you run with two users, now what we can see is first it will start with first user and second user will start, because we gave 5 seconds ramp up, right? And it will run for one time. So what it does, first user will come and it will start executing until that first user completes this complete 30 seconds. then the second user won't come. It will wait in the waiting status until first user come out of this controller. Then only the second user will go and start the uh, start this particular controller. Okay, so that is all about this critical session controller. If first user, let's say you have 10 users, let's say randomly fifth user coming to execute this part, and remaining all 9 users will wait until that fifth user completes. Then only any one of the user will come again, and they will start executing this part. But only remember, only one user can execute this particular code at any given point of time. There is no users cannot execute the same code. So you have such kind of scenario, you can use it. And you can see how many users is getting executed. For that you can use JSR sampler and use before executing. Okay, and keep after executing also, after completion also. You can add this one here. Okay, not here. Yeah, let's add here, and let's move this guy to here. Okay, something like that. Okay, here we can write a log dot info, and yeah, you can mention simply, right? Critical, yeah, otherwise go here and copy this one. Okay, critical session controller started, thread space, and you want to know what is the thread it is started, right? You can go to here and you can enter the thread group name or thread number. Okay, so copy this thread number and you can pass it here as use concatenation as plus symbol and keep it in this brackets. Okay, so that it will give the number. Okay, the same code copy and put it here as the ended. Okay, okay, so this is started and this is controller ended, and you can see which thread got executed. Okay, if I want to run 2 to 3, let's run with 3 users. Okay, if I run 3 users, first time first user will come and it will start executing. Second user will come, but he has to wait. Okay, until this first user completes, second user has to wait. Third user also has to wait until second user completes. We don't know, right? So yeah, so we'll go and check whether it is really happening or not. So go here and run it, and before that you enable this enable debug, and you can see the exact log messages and everything. Okay, is yeah, see here, critical section controller started thread number 1. Okay, so here also you can see started thread group 1.1. That means thread number 1 is started, and these two started, but they are still waiting state only. They are not doing anything. Okay, so it will execute this particular script. Okay, see, now this one is completed. It is saying critical session 1 ended by a first thread. Now critical session controller started with thread group thread 2. Okay, yeah, so again the critical session thread group will complete, and third user will be keep on waiting until this complete, then third user will start. So if you wait another 30 seconds, this thread group 2 will completed. See, thread critical session ended by 2, and now 3 is starting. Okay, so likewise, any given point of time, only one particular controller user will be executing that particular code. If you have that kind of scenario, you can use the critical session controller. Okay, so this is very useful. If you want to use this one, you can use it for any of the your scenarios. You have such kind of scenario, right? You can use this one. Hope you understand this concept. Okay, So yeah, this is the way we have to use it, guys. Okay. Yeah, so this is all about critical session controller, and let's go ahead and use another controller. Okay, so for each controller I will teach later, which needs some data points. Okay, for each is very simple. Let's say there is a URL you log in, and once you log in URL, there are 5 links. Okay, and you captured all the 5 links through the script. Okay, then you want to pass one by one in the upcoming request. Okay, for that you have to run that for 5 requests you have to send. If there is a 10 requests in 10 URLs or 20 URLs, you have to dynamically send 20 requests to the server. Then how do you do it? For that you will use for each controller, that I will show you later part. Okay, for now go to interleave controller. Include controller also I will teach you later, because they need more data points to be explained. For now, I will use very simple one, interleave controller. Interleave controller is very straightforward. The name itself is saying interleave. That means let's say you have 3 samplers in this controller. Okay, let's add interleave controller. Let's move on to all the way top. Okay, so let's minimize this one. Here you have interleave controller, and let's say you have 3 dummy samplers. Let me move these ones to here. Okay, 2, and let me add third one as well. Okay, so these 3 we have to make them as the child of this interleave controller. Okay, now these 3 are childs. Okay, let me disable this constant timer also. Okay, let's disable this one also. Okay, yeah, so now we disabled. Now we have interleave controller. Now what does it do? Okay, let's say what this interleave will do. No, first it will run this one, and it will ignore this one, and it will run this one. Okay, then again second iteration, it will ignore this one, and it will run this one. That is all about interleave. That means it will run one after another. So it will run this one, then it will ignore this one. This will run this one and ignore the other one. Let me copy the same thing again, and I will make it as 4. Okay, so this one make it as 3. Okay, so 1 2 3, right, we have. So if you run this one, clearly you can see which one got executed. First it will run sampler 1, it will leave this one, and it will run this one, and it will leave this one. Next iteration, it will leave this one, and it will run this one. Okay, likewise. Okay, first we will run only one iteration with one user. You will clearly understand. Then I will run with 2 iterations. Okay, so let's watch in the view results tree. Excuse me. Okay, see, first it started dummy sampler. Yeah, oh sorry, my bad. The It's not going to work this way. Interleave means only one sampler will get executed. Okay, so out of 4, first time it will get executed this one. Second iteration, it may execute this one, it will leave this one. Okay, third iteration it may run this one, fourth iteration it may run this one. Okay, likewise. Okay, so if we run now again, right, see, always first one will get executed for first iteration. Let's change it to 4 iterations. Now what happened? Iteration 1, this one will get executed. Then iteration 2, this one will get executed. Iteration 3, this one will get executed. Iteration 4, this one will get executed. Okay, all about interleave controller. Okay, so it will run based on the iteration. First iteration this one, second iteration this one, third iteration this one, fourth iteration this one, fifth iteration again this one, likewise. Okay, not like what I explained previously. That is my bad. So see, we ran 4 iterations, right? First iteration debug sampler, second iteration uh, sampler 1, third iteration this one, fourth iteration this one. Okay, if you run fifth iteration again this one, sixth iteration likewise. Okay, so interleave means only one will get executed. If you run six iterations and clear it and run it. Okay, see, 1 2 3 4 fifth sixth. Okay, that is all about interleave controller. Okay, so it's very simple. And if you have such kind of scenario, right, you have four requests, you want to execute only the one request for the test per iteration. Okay, second iteration you want to run second one, third iteration third one, fourth one. Okay, likewise if you have any scenario you can use it. This is very useful when you have, right, API testing, right, web services testing or REST services, right. Let's say you have 10 requests. Each time, each iteration you want to send any one of the request only out of 10. Okay, in that cases you can use interleave controller and you can add all the 10 requests and it will run only one of them out of 10 for each iteration. Okay, that is all about interleave controller. Okay, so let me add another controller. It's very simple, interleave controller and once only controller. Yeah, once only itself we have a word called once. It will execute only one time for the test. Let's say there is a scenario in your application. You have to log into the application only one time during the load test and you have to log out only once. In that cases, the login transaction and URL transaction you can keep under once only controller and logout part you can keep in the once only controller. Okay, so that it will execute only only once during the test. Okay, so likewise if you have any such scenario, right, you can use them in the once only controller. Let's say this two has to be executed only one time and this two has to execute continuously. Okay, so now this interleave I will disable because we don't want it, right. So these two I will keep outside the interleave and let's make them as the normal request. Okay, now they are childs of thread group. Okay, so now if you take 10 iterations it will run 6 iterations, sampler 2 and sampler 3. That is straightforward, right. If you run 20 times it will run 20 times sampler 2 sampler 3, but once only controller will run only one time per user. Okay, if you run two users this two will run six times per user. Okay, because we have six iterations in current test, sampler 2 and 3 will run six time, whereas this sampler and sampler 1 will run only once because once only controller, they are underneath once only controller, it will run only once for the test. Okay, so let's run it and see how it works. Okay, see, debug sampler 1 got executed only one time and whereas 2 and 3 got executed six times. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, this is for thread group thread user 1. If you run two users, same thing. Okay, the two first user and second user will execute only one time this dummy sampler and dummy sampler 1, whereas this one will get executed six times per user. Okay, so clear here and run it. Okay, see, dummy sampler this one and two got executed only one time and whereas two got executed 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 and you can see somewhere down also 5 6, right. This is 6. Okay, so each user wise. Now you see 2, right, thread group 1.2 got executed only one time. So yeah, likewise if you see, right, that thread groups, that debug sampler will be executed only two times because each user only it will execute only one time. Okay, so that is all about the test. Okay, it will get executed only once per user. Per user it will execute only one time per the test. Okay, so that is all about once only controller. Okay, remember, only one time per the test per user. Okay, that is all about once only controller. Whatever samplers you are inserting inside this controller, they will get executed only one time per user. Remember, it is not per entire test, it is per user. If you have 10 users, this will get executed only 10 times. Okay, whereas this one will get executed based on your loop count. If you have six, each user will get executed six times data sampler 2. Okay, so yeah, that's all for today. Let's see remaining controllers in tomorrow's session or upcoming sessions. So thanks for watching. Please do subscribe. Please let others know, whoever wants to learn, right? Jmeter, uh, they will get some benefits out of my videos. Okay, thanks for watching once again. See you in next session. Bye for now.